Before we begin, viewer discretion is strongly advised. The following is for educational and entertainment purposes only. This is a summary of federal courtroom testimony from the Sean Diddy Combs trial, as reported by Inner City Press. In a crowded Manhattan courtroom, intense developments unfolded involving one of hip-hop's most influential figures. Not due to celebrity statements or leaked videos, but because of a man previously unknown to the public. Gene Deal, Diddy's former bodyguard, has spoken out for years, but few paid attention. Now, in court, Deal's previously ignored warnings are gaining attention as video evidence and witness testimonies align with his accounts. On day 7 of the trial, sources inside the courtroom say jurors reacted strongly when one of Deal's claims was confirmed on video. Diddy appeared visibly shaken. When someone who once protected you becomes the one who exposes your actions, it can have major consequences. This moment might represent a significant challenge to Diddy's defense. Let's look at how Gene Deal's evidence has influenced the case. Gene Deal has spoken publicly for years but was often dismissed. As a former bodyguard during the height of Bad Boy Records, Deal was close to Diddy and witnessed both his public and private behavior. In many interviews, Deal described a difficult environment behind the scenes, mentioning intense outbursts, strict control over staff, and private parties. Until recently, many considered these claims as possibly exaggerated or motivated by personal reasons. However, during the federal trial related to serious allegations against Diddy, these claims are being revisited and some are being supported by court testimony. Deal described Diddy's operation as highly controlled, with staff assigned strict roles and privacy heavily guarded. He claimed Diddy influenced people through various means including fear and loyalty. In past years, Deal said he witnessed troubling interactions involving Diddy and Kim Porter, the late mother of some of Diddy's children. He has said he kept silent for a long time. What stands out now is that Deal's detailed stories, especially about parties and alleged misconduct, are being echoed by new witness statements. Witnesses describe scenes involving confiscated phones, private rooms, intoxicated guests, and coercion. When a police officer testified about an incident involving Cassie in 2016 that matched Deal's earlier descriptions, it marked a turning point in the courtroom. The prosecution is building a case suggesting this was not a single loss of control, but a pattern designed to maintain control. Gene Deal was present during these events, and his accounts are now seen as credible by many legal analysts because they are consistent and detailed. In a recent interview, Deal said, "You protect a man's body for years, but you can't protect his soul," expressing regret over his silence. He also described so-called freak-offs, private gatherings where serious misconduct allegedly took place and was recorded, supposedly to maintain leverage over attendees. These claims align with allegations made by other accusers, some involving NDAs, secret recordings, and threats, making Deal's testimony harder to dismiss. Additionally, Deal suggested that Diddy's mother, Janice Combs, may have influenced his behavior. He described her as running a modeling agency that some allege was a front for illicit activities. The court has not confirmed these claims. The prosecution appears to be presenting a narrative that Diddy's behavior was shaped by family influences and deliberate control. During the latest trial session, more details continue to emerge. A courtroom observer said several jurors visibly reacted when one witness's account matched Gene's earlier interviews. When one of Deal's previously denied stories was referenced in court documents, Diddy reportedly muttered under his breath and asked to be excused, saying he was nervous. This was the first visible break in his otherwise stone-faced demeanor. If Deal takes the stand, which prosecution insiders say is highly likely, he won't just testify as a witness. He will confirm the narrative the prosecution has built, exposing details that were previously unaddressed. As Diddy's lawyers try to manage the courtroom narrative, it is becoming clear their strategy wasn't prepared for someone like Deal. They expected denials and emotional X's, but not a stoic former bodyguard with a clear memory matching the evidence. Deal has publicly stated that years ago he warned Diddy to change his behavior, especially after Cassie Ventura ended their relationship and threatened legal action. He said he saw Diddy ignoring his own lawyers, rejecting settlements, and escalating tensions with others. That pattern appears to be continuing. Prosecutors revealed that Diddy rejected multiple plea offers earlier this year. Instead of accepting a deal that could reduce his sentence, he reportedly insisted on fighting the case fully. According to Deal, Diddy believed he was untouchable. However, in court that image is breaking down. On day 6 of the trial, sources say Diddy appeared pale, thinner than usual, and visibly shaken. His hand trembled during cross-examinations, and at one point, he asked the judge for a break, saying, "Excuse me, I'm a little nervous." Deal's perspective is also helping prosecutors present what they describe as organized criminal behavior. In Deal's words, this wasn't a man spiraling out of control. This was a man orchestrating events with drug suppliers, event planners, NDAs, and security. The court is framing these actions not as isolated incidents, but as part of a criminal system. Deal also said he witnessed Diddy using his influence to silence employees, settle with victims, and eliminate threats, sometimes through bribes, other times through intimidation. This kind of behavior is relevant to proving racketeering charges, which carry serious federal penalties. As the trial progresses, the defense is working to discredit Deal, but they are running out of time. Every day he is not called, more evidence appears to align with his statements. Whether or not he testifies, Deal has already impacted the trial significantly, and that may be the greatest threat to Diddy. Gone Deal's accounts do more than support the prosecution's evidence. They change how the public and the jury view the abuse allegations. For years, reports of Diddy's alleged violent outbursts and manipulative behavior were mostly limited to gossip or anonymous tips. Now, with Deal providing detailed incidents that match sworn testimony and police reports, those stories carry more weight and can no longer be ignored. In interviews going back nearly 10 years, Deal described an incident where Kim Porter, Diddy's former partner and mother of 3 of his children, had to defend herself during a violent argument by slashing his wrist with a broken object. At the time, many dismissed Deal's story as exaggerated. But during the trial, new testimony confirmed Porter had been treated at Cedars-Sinai Hospital shortly after an undisclosed domestic dispute. Though she never spoke publicly, the alignment of Deal's timeline with the hospital report lends credibility to his account. Deal also described in detail the environment around the so-called freak-offs, alleged drug-fueled sex parties at Diddy's mansion. According to Deal, these events were not spontaneous but carefully planned. Security was instructed to confiscate phones, lighting was adjusted to specific settings, and guests were directed on where to go and what to wear. This matches testimony from Cassie Ventura and other women, who said they were invited to participate in sex acts they did not fully consent to. Diddy allegedly called these gatherings experiences and reportedly watched recordings of them afterward, something Deal says he personally witnessed. Cassie Ventura herself admitted that early in her relationship with Diddy, she was involved in scheduling some parties, arranging for other women, and occasionally providing drugs. But she explained this as part of the psychological control she was under. Deal's interviews supported this. The people involved didn't even realize they were being mistreated. Diddy made them feel indebted to him. This shift in understanding abuse, from impulsive anger to a deliberate system of psychological control, is perhaps the most impactful aspect of Deal's testimony. It suggests that Diddy was not just someone who lost control, but someone who allegedly created situations where people felt too powerless or impaired to refuse. In court, this is not just unethical, it is potentially criminal. While the courtroom was the public stage, Deal had access to the behind-the-scenes operations. He was responsible for security at Bad Boy Records, ensuring Diddy's safety. What he witnessed beyond the public eye has now become crucial testimony. In multiple podcasts, Deal described Bad Boy not merely as a music label but as a lifestyle group where loyalty was enforced through intimidation and shame, and where participation in drugs, sex, and violence was reportedly encouraged. He described the headquarters as resembling a command center, with surveillance systems aimed inward to monitor employees, partners, and romantic relationships. Everyone was watching everyone, Deal said in a 2022 interview. The camera's true focus was unclear. This is especially significant as prosecutors have submitted photos and metadata from surveillance cameras inside one of Diddy's New York properties, showing guests being escorted into private rooms. Possibly the most troubling part of Deal's account concerns what he terms a grooming protocol. According to him, new hires or collaborators, especially women, were put through a process where they were tested to see how far they would go. They were flown out, given substances, and their actions recorded. Those who resisted were allegedly cut off, while those who complied became regular attendees at parties and sometimes Diddy's romantic partners. Deal's close position also let him observe how potential threats were handled. He recounted one woman who allegedly attempted to report a drug-related incident involving a young artist. Shortly after, she was sent to Paris with a non-disclosure agreement and cash. Deal described the operation as a well-oiled machine, not chaotic but structured in a way that appears chaotic. Legal experts note this distinction is crucial for the prosecution, portraying the alleged crimes as part of a planned enterprise rather than random reckless acts. Should Deal testify, his account could connect decades of accusations. He knows where the cameras were, when security was instructed to look away, and how the organization maintained secrecy. Diddy's public image has always been about control, the fur coats, champagne, private jets, and exclusive parties. He cultivated an image not just as a music mogul but as a symbol of power. But in court, that image is breaking down, with Deal highlighting this unraveling. On the sixth day of the trial, reporters noted a dramatic change in Diddy's appearance. He looked gaunt, pale, and exhausted. A journalist commented, "It's like he aged 5 years and 5 days." Deal has previously said that Diddy's greatest fear was not prison but irrelevance. He could handle jail but not being invisible, Deal said. Now, Diddy is at the center of a trial where every detail challenges the image he worked to build. The prosecution's strategy focuses not only on presenting evidence but on dismantling his persona. Witnesses describe him as paranoid, controlling, and erratic. Former staff say he demanded complete control over everything, from the party playlist to the drugs guests were given. One witness said Diddy didn't just host parties, he orchestrated every minute. This sharply contrasts with Diddy's defense, which portrays him as a passionate but misunderstood artist. However, the image is faltering. After a piece of audio evidence allegedly capturing Diddy ordering a woman to a private room was played, he visibly flinched. When the judge asked if he needed a break, Diddy initially declined but appeared panicked and later requested a bathroom break, whispering, "I'm shaking." These reactions have not gone unnoticed by the jury. Body language experts consulted by media outlets suggest Diddy's physical response shows the strain he is under.